Hello, Social 8. How are you? Happy Wednesday. I am making this video on Tuesday evening. I'm outside because it might be a little cooler out here than it is inside my house right now. This is where I've kind of been sitting most of the day. The kids were outside playing and the sprinkler and the water table and their inflatable little water slide thing because it was a warm one today, especially for May. I hope that you all were able to take advantage of the sunshine and the warm weather too, because after a long winter, it feels great. So we are moving on with World War II. Today we are talking about what Americans were doing on the home front. So that means in the United States to prepare for World War II. And we are also going to learn about which significant event brought the United States into World War II. So as usual, when we're doing these readings, a lot of your Google form questions are going to be right from these vocabulary words. There are only 6 vocab words. You do have 8 Google form questions. So 6 of them are from the gray box, and I will show you where the other 2 are. So, dominance of big business. The Great Depression finally ended as the United States mobilized for war. The War Production Board was created. The Selective Training and Service Act started the first peacetime draft in the history of the United States. More than 16 million Americans served in World War II. To fund the war, the government raised taxes and sold war bonds. Americans also gathered scrap metal for war production factories. Government rations curbed the non-military use of gasoline, rubber, shoes, and some kinds of food. Women took on a new role in World War II. Because so many men left to fight in the war, women were urged to fill factory jobs. Women also served in the armed forces, some as pilots and as nurses. Over 300,000 women served in the armed forces during World War II. The Great Migration continued as African Americans moved north to find factory jobs supporting the war effort. A march was planned by A. Philip Randolph to protest lower wages for African Americans. It was called off when Roosevelt ended the practice of racial discrimination in factories that produced war goods. About 1 million African Americans served in the armed forces during the war. Most of them were sent to support jobs in segregated units. The Tuskegee Airmen, under the leadership of Benjamin O. Davis, Jr., flew thousands of successful missions in North Africa and Italy. About 300,000 Mexican Americans served in the military during the war. Many also found wartime jobs in the West and Midwest. Mexico supplied farm workers to ease a lack in the United States. Despite their aiding the war effort, Mexican Americans faced discrimination. In Los Angeles in June 1943, groups of sailors attacked Mexican Americans wearing zoot suits. Zoot suits were fancy, loose-fitting outfits with oversized hats. This started the Zoot Suit Riots. Japanese-American internment. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, fear of Japanese Americans on the West Coast increased. No evidence to back up the fear was offered, but the government began the process of internment of Japanese Americans. About 120,000 people, many of them native-born Americans, were forced to move and were held in internment camps. Many lost their jobs, homes, and belongings. After Pearl Harbor, Japanese Americans could not join the military. This policy ended in 1943. Okay, so we've done the reading, and I told you I would tell you where the other two questions were. So it is this one right here. Circle the number of Americans who served in World War II. More than 16 million Americans served in World War II. Find that question, pick 16 million. The other question is right here. Why did women take factory jobs during the war? Right here, women took on a new role in World War II. Because so many men left to fight in the war, women were urged to fill factory jobs. It also talked a little bit here about Pearl Harbor after the attack on Pearl Harbor. We haven't done much with that yet. So there is a short video that I have linked to talk about Pearl Harbor. Okay. So those are the 3 things you have to do for me today. You have to look at this reading or watch me read it to you. Answer the Google form questions and watch the Pearl Harbor video. I think that is it for today. So enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. It's supposed to be another really hot one out there. And then I will be back on Thursday with a review. Bye.